just clarify, do you have the power to dismiss cases as arranged by and within the submission of some members? Do you have the powers, and if so, where do you derive such powers?
Thank you, Chair. I do not have the powers to dismiss cases, and any closure of files administratively has arisen from a decision of the tribunal.
So all cases are only closed?
I simply communicate the position of the Commission, because under the Uganda Human Rights Commission procedure rules, the Director of Complaints, Investigations and Legal Services serves as the registrar to the tribunal.
Okay. So, Madam Chairperson, as you respond to all arising issues before you go to the accounting officer, harmonize for us how are cases closed without investigation, and if any, and to take us through quick responses for all matters that were concerning your office or your person.
Without investigation, maybe this is the issue of admissibility. There are cases which are outside our mandate, and those which are meant for other institutions, which are not investigated at all. Let me give examples. Employment-related cases, breaches of contract, accident cases or cases of negligence, which are brought as torture, debt recovery cases, land disputes, and then cases which are time-barred or brought outside the limitation period, and so many others of that nature. We don't have to investigate such a case before taking a decision on it. And I don't know whether that is sufficient, but to add on what the director said, it's the tribunal session which determines the criteria for cases which we don't have to hear all the way to writing a decision. One such example is cases which are founded on forged evidence. Take, for example, forged medical reports. To avoid encouraging illegalities of that nature, because forgery is a criminal offense. Where we discover that this case is founded on forged medical reports, we cannot go ahead with it, because if somebody can so painstakingly forge medical reports, then how do you believe them on any other issue? So we have an admissibility criteria, and then also policy issues, because we don't want to encourage forgeries. Chair, I have very little to say. A member talked about alleged 70 billion shillings, which was to be donated by the Canadian Embassy, and which I'm alleged to have blocked. This is news to me. There is, first of all, I don't know of any embassy which has ever donated this amount of money to the Commission, but I'm not aware of this. And why should a resource-starved institution, why would we have blocked this? It would be insanity, really, on my part. And then a question of how much money would we need to convene a single tribunal session. I was guided by the accounting officer that it would be about 50 million shillings. And just to agree with Honorable Batua, that the biggest problem with the Commission is poor financing. And most of the others for the accounting officer to respond to. I recognize the concern of members about petty bickering in the Commission, and most obliged, Chairman, about what you said, petty bickering in light of serious human rights issues obtaining in the country. I concede that there is bickering, and the Honorable Mohenda talked about a leadership crisis. Indeed, there is a crisis at the Commission. And as I said before, another committee, there is no way of sugarcoating this. There is a leadership. Let me say there is a crisis. If we are to define leadership to mean the chairperson and the commissioners, there is a leadership crisis. And to conclude this, Chairman, as I hand over to the accounting officer, after my aborted resignation, I call it aborted because it was rejected by the appointing authority. I was required to write a brief to him, which I did, and it touches on this, among others, this internal bickering, and I'm waiting for guidance from him. And on that note, I want to thank you, Chairman and members, for having endured us since 9 a.m. Let me now hand over to the...
Maybe, Madam Chair, before you hand over, from the comments and submission of commissioners, we need to learn from you. And you are also alluding to the fact that there is internal bickering. You have also written to the appointment authority or appointing authority. Now, assistants appreciate, now that you are the chairperson, according to your own statements, what have you done to seek harmony beyond now reporting whatever you may report? For us, we want to judge you as someone in chairing a commission, and before you are commissioners. One said he was happy to get an opportunity of even greeting you, and you also honorably responded that you can wave and greet at a distance. Now, yet we expect you to transact, and already you receive taxpayers' money as a commission. Internally, the last meeting they were reporting, as if reporting that you even didn't invite them much as they were in office while meeting political party leaders. We want to look at your strategy of restating harmony within the commission. In the meantime, away from, they also have a dossier they send to so many offices. You also have a brief to the appointing authority. But for us now, we are interested in the normal day-to-day transaction, because all of you still earn probably salary and emoluments, and you still transact on behalf of the commission. Internally, what are the efforts? What is your strategy? We want to see a ray of hope in the meantime as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for this question. I know you mean it very well for the commission. You want us to do better. You want us to succeed. In fact, the starting point is to concede that there is a problem. I concede that there is lack of harmony, or very little harmony, at the commission. In appearing before one of the committees of this parliament, I actually apologized to parliament, to the appointing authority, and to the people of Uganda. And in my words, I said, we have let you down. I think that is the starting point, to admit that there is an issue. And internally, what have I done to try to reinstate harmony? Chairman, without going into too much detail, I approached one of these commissioners, whom Honorable Sewungu described in perhaps not very palatable terms, but maybe that is the nature of the person I was looking for. And I approached this member of the commission for a number of reasons. I chose him. And I said, please, can you try to, among us as adults, the Constitution describes us as people of integrity and high moral standing. And I said, as people who are described by the Constitution in those terms, we can on our own try to initiate an amicable resolution of the conflict. I remember telling him, even when it comes to interstate conflicts, that Iran is at war with America, but they are talking somehow. And I also talked about what I call the confidence building measures I talked about de-escalation. And this member of the commission said it was okay, he welcomed it. In fact, he even went on to identify a mediator. A mediator, a man of high repute, with a strong CV, and that is the immediate former Solicitor General, Mr. Atoke. So, those were the steps I took at that point. So, maybe we have not gone very far, but just to update you that yes, I'm concerned and I took steps for de-escalation and reconciliation.
Maybe to pick it from there, commissioners, all of you access the microphone. Do you have any problem with reconciliation?